When you go to make bowls, you have to switch the way you think from what you've been doing making cylinders. There are several things that are just different from the start. One is how thick you leave the bottom. So I'm going to suggest that you open up the ball of clay in a different way. The most difficult kind of bowl to make is one that has a continuous curve from one edge to the other, from one rim to the other. So that's what I'll do first. I'll make a bowl that's roughly hemispheric in shape. How wide this is attached to the wheel is as big as the foot can be, so this is an important decision to make. When I open the ball of clay to make a cylinder, I oftentimes stick my thumb in and then pull straight back. It's important to do the first part. It can work this way or this way, but I'm going to stop when I get near the base and measure with my eye or with my hand and leave this much thicker. You notice that I pressed down and made a V shape or U shape but didn't pull back. That's because I'm going to try and make a continuous curve here, so I don't want the bottom to be flat. If I put my fingers in here and try and make the shape by pulling back, I'll invariably make the bottom flat because that's how you make cylinders. So what I do is I start at the upper edge and press down in order to make the shape of the base of the pot, the bottom of the pot. So by doing it this way, I don't end up with any flat spots. There's a beautiful curve here that I can feel. When you go to throw a bowl, it's important that you realize that the bowl, each time you stretch it, will get wider and lower. So I'm going to begin by making a almost 45-degree angle. It's a good idea to leave the rim a little bit thick when you're learning how to do this so that it makes it easier options for trimming. When I throw the bowl, I don't actually move the clay until my fingers are opposite each other. So I feel the curve in the bottom, and when my fingers are opposite, then I'll pull the clay out. Throwing bowls is a little different than cylinders as well because your fingers are going to be more or less opposite each other. When you throw a cylinder, obviously your inside hand is higher generally. When you throw a bowl, you're more or less going to be pinching. So I'll feel the curve, and when my fingers become opposite each other, I'll pull the clay up. I'm not trying to make it round yet, I'm trying to just thin the clay. I'll do that one more time, and this time what I'll do is draw the shape of the inside of the bowl with my inside hand. The outside shape will take care of itself. Before I make the bowl any lower, I'm going to trim the clay where the foot's going to be, and I'll make this a bevel or a taper, which will make it easier to lift as well. So the clay is wet, and I'll make one more pass. So the shape is done with this hand. I don't watch my hands, I watch past where my fingers are at the shape that I've already made. So I'll make the bowl rounder. I suppose I'm still lifting the clay a little bit, but mostly I'm just drawing the shape of the interior. Generally speaking, it's possible that you get a hump where the clay goes from being supported by the clay underneath the foot to unsupported. So it's important not to press down hard as you're moving the clay. There's a small hump here, so there's a low spot and a hump and a low spot. It's easy to take that off with a rib. So I'll actually start up above at the top and press the rib down towards the bottom very gently, and it'll clean the inside out and remove that little bump that I didn't intentionally leave. And it's good. Bowls are easy to lift because the clay is thick at the bottom, since you left clay there to trim later. So it's not usually difficult to take bowls off the wheel. The easiest way to lift a bowl is with your fingers spread out. It's important that your fingers are kind of equal distance from each other. If you go like this, you'll make an oval shaped bowl. And if that's what you intend, great. Otherwise, try and make your fingers kind of the same distance apart from each other. And remember, give the bowl a little twist and it will pop right off the wheel head. Okay, ready for another one.